Hello and welcome to today's Clearing Live, and we are with colleagues from the School of Psychology today. We've got Dr Paul Cavendish, a lecturer in psychology, and Sarah Baker, who is a lecturer in psychology, counselling and therapies. Hello both.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and if anyone's got any questions they'd like to ask, just to pop them in the comments box on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll answer your questions during the live. But if you're watching this afterwards, still pop a question in and we will answer them after the broadcast has ended. So we're straight in with you, Paul, really, about an overview of the school. What's the School of Psychology like at Bedfordshire? What's it all about?
It's great. We're based in Park Square in Luton. We have 4 BSc degree programs, as well as a BA and foundation year degree programs. So our degree programs, we have straight psychology. So these are all BSc honours, BSc honours in psychology, health psychology, forensic psychology, and psychology counselling and therapies, which is Sarah's course. But we also provide a BA in psychology and, as I said, foundation degrees as well. We're a relatively small but very nicely packed school. All of our lecturers are experts in their fields, and we're all highly research active, and we feed that down to our teaching so the students get the benefit of that. And we've got some great facilities as well. We really have. We've got some specialist labs which are all open to the students to use, as well as that's where we actually teach the students in. So it's all round. It comes in a very nice, tidy little package.
Cool, thank you. And you just touched upon Sarah's course, which is the psychology, counselling and therapies. Could you tell us a little bit more about what that course is all about, Sarah?
Yeah, of course. So the Psychology, Counselling and Therapies course is primarily a psychology course with specialist units in counselling and therapies. So people who choose to join that course have specialist teaching in counselling every year of their course. So they become familiar with different ways of working therapeutically, so different therapeutic approaches. They learn therapeutic skills, and they also learn about coaching as well. So in the final year, they get to do some real life peer coaching with their fellow students. I just want to say to everybody that we no longer have a bachelor's degree in health psychology. We try and scoop those up into the Psychology, Counselling and Therapies course now.
Okay, there's always lots of movement within schools. That's great. Thank you for that overview, Sarah. You kind of mentioned some of the work that students do in a kind of practical side of things. Are there opportunities for placements, and have you got strong links with industries and experts coming in and teaching in those courses?
Yeah, so on all of our bachelor's degrees, students have the opportunity to do a 4-year course. And in the 3rd year, they would work in placement in a role that would support their development of skills and knowledge and understanding of how psychology is applied in practice. This year I've got a student working in a school to support children with mental health. I have another student who's working with the police. So although she's on a counselling and therapies course, she's actually working with mental health in the police force on her placement year. So they have all sorts of different opportunities. And some of the opportunities they have on their placement year are really interesting. So I do encourage students to think about that route as well.
And then beyond placements, where else do our graduates go on to once they've completed their course?
Oh, psychology is one of the most flexible courses you can study. Of course, I would say that, but I truly believe it is. You can work in business. A lot of businesses value psychology as a base degree. You can work in HR, and then you can also carry on to become a psychologist. So if you want to be a psychologist, this is your base, this is your foundation, and then you would need to carry on and do postgraduate study as well. For my course, students also carry on to do additional training in counselling and therapies. So they might go on to do a counselling course that is accredited by the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy, or they may choose to do a master's in psychotherapy and become a psychotherapist.
Fantastic. Paul, in your little overview, you talked about the psychology labs, and what would someone expect coming into a psychology lab? What kind of equipment would they expect to see?
We have some of the latest state-of-the-art equipment. Eye tracking we specialise a lot in, so we have several pieces of eye tracking equipment. For anyone watching doesn't know, this is equipment that essentially shining a light into the eye and using a camera to pick up the reflection of that light to precisely pinpoint where you're looking at. So this is used a great deal in things like reading research, in linguistics, where you can track where people are reading along a sentence. I've used it myself in my own research in looking at driving behaviour. So people on a driving simulator, which is another of our piece of equipment, driving along the road, and you can actually see where they're looking for potential hazards, etc. We have EEG equipment, so that's an electroencephalogram, and this equipment picks up electrical activity in the surface of the brain. We can't tell what you're thinking, as a lot of people commonly, if I had £1 for every time I was asked that, but we can pick up electrical activity in the cortex of the brain, and that tells us particular things such as people's level of conscious awareness. It's also used to diagnose epilepsy, and looking at sleep patterns as well. So just a couple of the bits of equipment we've got there. And the labs themselves, we have 2 specialist labs that house this sort of equipment that the students can use, and our other labs, we double them up really, so we can conduct research in them, so they have their own piece of equipment in, but also our tutorials that we run, they take place in the labs as well, so the students are actually in the very location where that equipment is that can be used in their tutorials, for example.
Fantastic. I'm going to throw this one out to either of you. We've got a question coming around research, and what impact has any recent research had on the wider community?
Well, one of our senior lecturers has done some research in the local community around homelessness and mental health that received a grant from the National Lottery, and that has had a significant impact within the community. Fantastic.
Great to see the work going wider than just a degree, really, when you're studying with us. Fantastic. A question here on accreditations as well. Are all the psychology courses accredited at Bedfordshire?
So the BSc, so the Bachelors with Honours degrees are accredited by the British Psychological Society, as are our postgraduate courses. So we also have postgraduate courses in forensic psychology and health psychology and applied psychology, and all those courses are accredited by the British Psychological Society.
Great. And Paul, in terms of the psychology, the VSc and the BA courses, is there a kind of split of practical and theory within those courses?
Absolutely. Each course is underpinned by theory, as well as research, which informs our teaching. And all of the courses have a high practical element to them. Myself and Sarah in particular, and we're just 2 of many of the staff in the school, like to engage with our students and have highly interactive sessions, and this includes lots of practical activities within the subjects that we teach. So yes, absolutely.
Great. So if anybody watching is interested in any of the courses that have been talked about from School of Psychology today, you can go on the website, beds.ac.uk/clearing. There's a full list of courses there to take a look through more information and apply, of course, for this September. Okay, so I'll ask you first, Sarah. What advice would you give somebody thinking about studying at Bedfordshire?
I would say that please do come along. We're friendly. Like Paul says, we're quite a small school. We get to know our students well. We try to support our students all the way through, and we really want our students to become part of our psychology community.
And Paul, what advice would you give?
I would just say, you know, if in doubt, if you're umming and ahhing, just take the ball by the horns and go for it. Contact any of us, you know, giving you all the information there on contacting if you've got any questions. But don't be afraid to, you know, come along and actually make that step and, you know, get on a course, because I've seen it time and again. Students will do that and they've not regretted it, and they've ended up with very good degrees.
Yeah, and I've actually attended one of your sessions on an open day previously, and we are now back to doing face-to-face on-campus open days. So I guess the other bit of advice would be to anyone who's interested in studying psychology is come down to our open day, the next one in September. Again, all the details for anyone watching are on the website, beds.ac.uk/open days. Paul, Sarah, thank you so much for your time today. That's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much.